Welcome back to another episode of Visibility Unlocked. Last week, we talked about right versus wrong visibility and how there is this shift that is happening inside of the marketplace. And today, I want to share a real life story that reflects exactly what this looks like, and it has absolutely nothing to do with business. The problem is, friends, that when you position yourself the way that others say to, you are literally missing out on positioning yourself the way that you are designed to be seen. And there's something I want to make very clear here. That is not a strategy problem. It's a visibility box problem. You see, most people think that they need to have a new strategy. I hear it all the time in entrepreneurship when I'm talking with colleagues or even my clients. They keep approaching me saying, I need to come up with a new strategy. The strategy that I have isn't working. But what they're missing is that they don't need a new strategy. What they really need is a new approach. You see, there is so much more to the approach than most people realize. And this story is going to show you exactly what that looks like when it plays out in real life. So, the story I want to share with you is actually something that happened inside of my life just these few weeks ago. My mom was moving from Ohio to Florida. And so, therefore, she needed to sell her condo in Ohio. Now, she went on her own and found a realtor that she believed was going to be great at this because he had prior experience selling condos in her building. He'd sold like six or something like that out of 24 units that are total in her condo complex. So, in her mind, he was a great realtor to be able to do this because he clearly had experience and had clearly seen success. And of course, like it made total sense. She interviewed him. She felt very comfortable with him. So go ahead, knock your socks off, mom, hire him. So she did. But here's the thing. Her condo was on the market for 2 months and he didn't get a single person to walk through there. I think they had a total of like maybe 3 showings over 6 weeks or 8 weeks or whatever it was. But none of those were him bringing people in. And so she was starting to feel really scattered, really unsure of herself and what to do. She was literally feeling invisible. Now, maybe that resonates with you a little bit where you are doing the work and you're putting stuff out there for months and nothing is happening. You don't have anybody walking through your door to see what you have, much less putting in an offer and saying, yes, I want to work with you. Yet you are doing all of the quote unquote strategies that all of the people who are successful on social media or inside of their marketing or just in their business in general are doing. And even though you see them having success with it and other people that are implementing the same thing have success with it, it's just not happening for you. So, what she ended up doing in the end is completely repositioning herself. We brought this guy in to sit down and see kind of like what he had to say for himself. And we didn't like what he had to say. And I'm going to share all of that here with you in a minute because it's kind of a good story. And so we ended up firing him. She brought in a new realtor, repositioned herself in the market, and in less than 36 hours had multiple showings. And in less than 48 hours of going on the market, she was under contract. So let me tell you about this conversation that we had when we brought her original real estate agent in. We flat out told him that we weren't happy with the results. And he threw a bunch of paperwork at us, showing us what was on the market that was comparable to hers and how long they had been on the market and all this other real estate mumbo jumbo that I don't even know. And literally was telling us that it was a market problem. That the way that the market is right now is the reason why she wasn't getting any showings and she wasn't getting any offers. So I specifically asked him, what was he going to do differently to get different results? Obviously, there's more to this than just being a market problem. In my mind, it was more of a marketing problem. And at this point, I really didn't even know what his marketing approach was. So I, leaning into my one line, I did some investigating and I asked him, like, what are you doing and what are you willing to do differently to get her some different results? And because he was so stuck on the fact that this was not a marketing problem for him, that it was an actual market problem, the only thing that he offered to do was to increase the volume of what he was already doing. But that's not something different. It's just more of the same. You know, just like posting more isn't something different. Yet, how often do we connect how much we post and how often we post as our actual strategy? Here's the thing. The strategy is using social media for visibility or whatever platforms that you're using, Facebook groups, newsletter, blogs, Pinterest, podcasting, networking events. Those are all the actual strategy. And these are great strategies for marketing yourself and for visibility. These things don't need to change. It's the approach that needs to change. But he refused to change his approach. He literally just wanted to do more of the same and was telling us that that was going to get us different results. But isn't that literally the definition of insanity? Doing more of the same thing and expecting different results? Friends, we have to stop thinking of this as a strategy problem. Your strategy is just fine, sweetheart. It's your approach that needs the shift. You see, we keep blending strategy and approach and labeling it all as being our strategy. But that's the real problem, because when we don't separate the two, it becomes really difficult to know exactly what needs to change. And then that just leads to feeling scattered and visible. And when we experience that, then self-doubt really starts to creep in. You don't need a different strategy. What you need is a different approach. And that's exactly what I focus on with my clients when we do a human design reading. Human design is literally the science of differentiation. And what that really means is that it's a permission slip to start doing things your way, not someone else's way, because they saw success that way and they were able to teach it, and other people were able to get success from doing it that way. This is your opportunity to come home to your most aligned approach, have that validated, and be freed by it. Showing up your way is one of the most rebellion things that you could possibly do. So stop limiting yourself by putting yourself in this visibility box. Because that box that you're putting yourself in because you're being told this is exactly what you need and should be doing in order to see the results that you really want to have, it's not meant for you. Which is why it feels so hard, which is why you're putting in all the effort and not seeing any results, which is why you're starting to feel like maybe I'm not meant for this. You're doubting that the strategy doesn't work. When I can tell you that the strategy works, you see the evidence of it. There's plenty of people that are marketing themselves in all of these different modalities, and they work. So why isn't it working for you? It's simple. It's the approach. So then the question becomes, well, how do I find my approach? And that's exactly what human design does. It literally shows you what your correct aligned approach is. And that's what we uncover in a reading. And then the Rising Entrepreneur membership, this is the container where it becomes real, where you actually implement it on a month by month basis, creating a rhythm that feels good. And the byproduct of that is consistency. It doesn't feel as hard. You're not as scattered. You literally have focus on exactly what to create content about. And you know exactly how to say the thing that you've been trying to say. If today's episode made something click for you, the place to start is with a human design reading, and not just any kind of human design reading, because there are a ton of human design readers out there, and a lot of them are absolutely incredibly amazing. But there are so many aspects to human design when you don't work with somebody who hones in on what visibility looks and feels like for you, shows you how you are designed to lead, to be seen, to show up so that people can see the authority that you know you already are. It is literally your visibility map. And that's why I hone in and specialize in human design with visibility, so that you can see exactly how you are designed. This isn't me putting you into a box. This is me showing you what your wings look like so you can fly free and show up the way that you are meant to show up. So I'm going to drop below a link where you can go and either learn more about reading, or if you're ready, you're like, this is a hell yes, Kim, then you can go ahead and book yourself a reading. And if you're ready for the implementation container, the Rising Entrepreneur membership, the place where you take what you learn in your reading or what you already know about yourself and actually build it into your visibility and a monthly rhythm, then the link for REM, more information and where to join for $40 a month is going to be in the show links too. Either way, I want you to stop positioning yourself the way others are telling you to, and start positioning yourself the way that you are designed to be seen. This, my friends, is what leading your visibility from the inside out is all about. Thank you for tuning in. I'll see you on the next episode. Most conversations about being seen stop at how you market yourself. Here at Visibility Unlocked, we crack open the 3 layers of visibility: market, client, and inner presence. Because without all 3, you're in the wrong visibility. And wrong visibility is just as bad as none. If you've been putting a lot of effort into showing up and still aren't seeing the results you desire, then you know it's time for a different approach. So hit subscribe, because that's exactly what the show is here to give you. And if you're finding value here, please leave a review so others can find their way to their right visibility too. Please note that the information shared in this podcast is not intended as legal, health, or financial advice and is for entertainment purposes only. If you are looking for professional advice in any of these areas, please seek out a local professional. Thank you for being here. And until next time, lead your visibility from the inside.